Hi everyone, it's Kim with cardcreationsbykim.com, here to share another 4th of July card with you. This one I'm calling Celebrate. Now, things that I used, I did some heat embossing. I used this star. I think I probably got these stamps at Joann's. I used a lot of these for Valentine cards, but I saw this one and it looked like it would be a good one to use on a 4th of July card. Again, I'm using my Recollections pre-scored cards and my Snappy Tray that I love so much for my heat embossing. Put that in there so we have everything together. And I am finishing up my Americana paper pad. I have scraps, and I'll show you what I did with it. I used a square punch, and this is from Marvy. I used some beading twine in red, white, and blue. Color box, which I've switched the lids. This one says cranberry, but you know, obviously that's not cranberry. I'm using a white gel pen and gonna make my card, push my card down so that it folds real nicely. I'm using a Celebrate stamp, which I've had forever. I have no idea where I got that from. And I'm going to be integrating some buttons into this card. The first time I saw a card with buttons, I thought, oh my gosh, that is such a cute idea. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and just fold along my pre-scored card, like so. And then the background of this card, I just did some random stamping. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Put it like that, we'll see. And, you know, I just kind of started out. Oh, I put one here. Part of it is going to be covered because of the patchwork that I put on it. And right here, maybe right here. Like I said, you know, it's mostly going to be covered, so I don't really need to do the whole card, but I mean, this alone is cute, I think, if you wanted to just do that. I'll put one down here. Okay. Now I'm going to take one of my, I actually use, I don't use baby wipes for cleaning my stamps. I use another one because this seems to have more soapy stuff in it. And then we'll set that aside, and we're done with that. And let me just clean off my area real quick, because we don't want the rest of that ink to get on our card. Okay, so we're good to go. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I want to put on my little squares, and I believe this is probably, I'm not even going to guess. Looks like it's 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. Yeah. And again, it's with the punch. And this can also be cut out on the Cricut. There's lots of cartridges that have squares. So you don't have to have a punch if you don't want to do that. Okay, so put that down there. And I'm going to leave just about that much. And then my red square. Not cooperating here for me this morning. Trying to get on the edges as best as I can. Like that. And once I get this down, if I'm not too excited about the width here or how they're lining up, if I can catch in time, I can move it. because the glue hasn't dried. But since it's like a patchworky kind of card, you know, I'm not going to stress about it. And we'll do the blue. That guy's going to go right there. And then we'll do the star. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, these are all from scraps from the Americana that I've been using to make my other cards with. Okay, so let's set that side to dry. We're going to go ahead and do our heat embossing. First thing you want to do is you want to get the static out of your paper, and this strip is 4 inches by 1 inch. I wanted to make it so that it was the same size as this. So I'm actually going to bring this back down to about 3 3/4. Let's measure that again. Yeah, 3 3/4. I'll use my gel pen real quick. Just I think it would make the card look better if it's all lined up. My miniature schnauzer barking at nothing. Hopefully I cut that straight. There we go. Okay, so like I said, you get the static out. Grab your I use the Versamark Frost Dazzle. Can you tell that I use my heat embossing a lot? I actually just bought a new one. And line that up as best as I can. I like to push down real hard to make sure. Set that aside. Now, the heat gun always is very loud, so let's get my Snappy Tray. And pour this on. Now what's really cool about this Snappy Tray is, I'll do this off camera, but I'm just trying to remove the excess here, is that it has a little spout on it, so you can just pour it back in. Like I said, I'll do that once I'm finished with my video. Alright, so let's go ahead and heat this up. I just realized I have blue ink in my nails. A true crafter I am. I must clean my nails. I'm using the ruler because the heat gun, if I'm holding the paper, is too hot. Okay, here we go. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so that is going to go right up here. But we want to go ahead and put our faux stitching on. Let's go ahead and just get that started, and then it'll go better. And I am purposely not making this perfect because it's a quilt, and quilting stitches are not always perfect, or at least the ones I've done. Alright, so let's go right down the edges like so, and give it its stitches. I tell you what, I went and bought a sewing machine a little one that was like $70 that I thought was going to be perfect for my cards, and I was disappointed. It wasn't of good quality, so I had to return it. So I gotta start putting my money aside, because I really like the way cards look when you sew on them. Christina with Creations with Christina, who I love her videos and she's just so sweet. She did a tutorial with her sewing machine that her husband and son got her, and she was showing how to sew on a card, and it just inspired me even more. I thought, maybe I should ask for that for Christmas. Santa can get that for me. We're almost done. But I do like the way it looks when you sew on a card. I do have the Sew Easy, if you're familiar with that, and I use that. It's time consuming to have to punch the holes and then go through and hand sew the stitches. But sometimes, you know, it's relaxing when you do stuff like that. Just make some pretty cards. Okay, now I'm going to use some mini dots, and put my buttons on. We're almost done with this card. And I'm going to put 2 on just to be sure. I already threaded the buttons before I started the video, because I don't think that any of you expert card makers actually need to know how to thread a button. Put that one on. Now I'm going to put the white one on. I have the mini Zots, and then I have the Zots that are just, oh, well, it sticks to your nails good. How's that? I have the other Zots, but the other Zots were too big for the button, and it was, you know, sticking out. It didn't look right. So, and put on our red one. Goes on the blue. Oh, I'm so popular. And that is my mother calling. And if I were a better, I would say she was going to call me now on my cell phone. There we go. Alrighty, then I'm just going to take some ATG. Oh, it's got a piece of thread on it. And do like so. And now you can see why it was important for me, because I want it to be all lined up. Alright, so that is another 4th of July card. Patchwork Celebrate. How's that? Nice and easy. I will have this on my blog at cardcreationsbykim.blogspot.com. And I guess that's it. I could put a happy 4th of July stamp in the middle of it. So, alright, thank you. Have a sunshiny day. Bye-bye.